Hey guys, what's up? And today we're going to be reviewing a 2022 JCB 3TS-8T Teleskid. We purchased this for about $105,000 about probably a week and a half ago, and with the machine we also received a pair of forks and a 1-yard snow bucket with it. So we thought it was a pretty good deal for the market at the time. And so far we love it. I mean, we leveled off this little area recently next to our house here, and but anyway, this is our first skid steer, and overall we love it. So let's continue with the walk around. So we'll look at the undercarriage first. Basically it's a pretty rugged undercarriage, and the tensioner is right behind this plate. You just pump it with grease if it gets loose. Overall, you know, it's pretty well built. We have no complaints about it. It comes with, I believe, a 0.46 something yard bucket, and ours also has the quick attach right here. And the way the quick attach works is when that red plunger is down in, it's locked. When it's up, that means it's unlocked. Very simple. And the telescopic boom, the standard hydraulics move with the boom when it comes out, and the high flow does not. I mean, although you could run it if you had longer hoses, I guess for safety reasons the high flow stays on the regular boom. And it also has a drain line and a relief for the pressure if the attachments are hard to put on. And there also is a electric 14-pin connector for any of your attachments, which is also very nice to have from the factory. Coming over to this side, actually down in here is your window washer fluid for your windshield wiper. Same thing with the tensioner on the track, same side. The fuel is located right here. And so if you come around to the back, these are just reflectors, they're not working lights, but they still do a decent job. Alright, looking in the engine, everything is easily accessible. You have your coolant reservoir here, the air filters behind these hooks here, and this whole thing comes out. Down in here is the battery. It's easy to jump to because you have a positive terminal right here, and then you can just ground it either to the, like this bolt here, or you could also just put it on the battery disconnect, which is this right here, and then you just have your main body fuses for the machine. The belt is right behind this cover, easily changeable. Oil dipsticks right here, oil fill, fuel filter / water separator, I believe. Yeah, water separator, and your oil filter. So everything is really accessible. Out of all the other skid steers we looked at before we purchased this one, I'd say it's definitely a lot more serviceable, and it's easier. Hydraulic tanks right here, and your level checks here. This right here is if the loader arm gets stuck, and then you can release the pressure and it'll slowly come down. Safety reasons. Right here is the radiator fan. The condenser is also in here if you have air conditioning, and the radiator fill is up here right behind the window. And we also have a backup camera installed on here, which I can show you inside. And we also upgraded our lights from the stock halogens to LEDs. I'll put them down in the description so you guys can purchase them if you want, if you're looking at them. And the other nice thing is the grease fittings on this machine is all really accessible, really easy to find. Though for the main piston you just have to lift the boom up, but they're all easily findable and accessible grease fittings. There's one on the other side for the bucket pivot. But overall we're really happy with this machine. There's 2 tie downs on the rear on each side, and there's also one right here and over there, so there's plenty of places to tie it down for on a trailer. Yeah, let me just shut this. Another thing is it's 74 horsepower, so there's no DEF fluid with this machine, which is really nice. So it literally is pretty much just a muffler and you're good. So all right, let's go inside. Best thing about this machine is the side entrance. You don't have to climb over a bucket or attachment or mower or whatever you're using. And we bought this mainly because my dad is old. He's 70 years old, and much easier to get in this machine than versus like a Cat or a John Deere that we looked at. All right, so you also have an air ride seat and a heated seat with this button right here, at least with the model we have. Your cabin air filter is down there. All right, now coming into the cab here, and then you can just put this down, and then you put this down. And if you shut the door, now it's a pretty roomy cab. I'm about 6'1", and I have plenty of leg room for me. It's a pretty comfortable cab. The AC works great. We haven't really had to use it yet because it's still only May, but you know, we've tested it. It works pretty good. The heat works good too. But overall, I mean, this machine is really good. So if you turn the key here, I'll just run you through what everything does here. So this is your throttle. This is the lights. If you press it once, it turns the front on. If you press it again, it'll turn both the front and the rear on. If you press it again, it turns them off. This is your bucket leveling. So if you as you lift the boom up, it'll level the bucket. That way you're not dumping it by accident. And you can turn it off just by pushing it like that. This is a stick lockout, so you can't use the boom. It locks the boom from moving, probably if you're going to hold something in a position and you don't want to accidentally move it. You can scroll through your hours. We currently have 31 hours on it. Mode is the sensitivity of the hydraulics. You can turn it up or down. We usually just run it at 1. Idle on, I believe that is the auto idle when you're not using the hydraulics, but then when you move them, it goes back to whatever you set it to. And then foot off, I believe the foot off means there's like a delay between the foot pedal, and this is the foot pedal accelerator. I really don't use it, but it does come handy if you need that extra oomph pushing into a pile. I don't remember what that is. Anyway, you got your fuel gauge, water temp, and hydraulic oil temperature. This is your parking brake. This is your auxiliary hydraulic lock. So basically, if you have like a grapple bucket on here, when you first start the machine, you have to turn the lock off in order to use it. You got a nice rear view mirror that provides a good field of view. You got a cabin light. And the other thing is the way to lift the cab up on these machines is a bolt here and a bolt here just behind the cab. You take that off and you can lift the cab up. Really easy, accessible. There's also a fuse panel behind here, so any extra additions you want, you can just tap into the spares down in here. And there's also, you know, the ones in the back too. So coming over to here, ours is a 2022. I've seen in previous videos the other ones were the non-Bluetooth radio, but ours came with a Jensen Bluetooth one, which is really nice. You can play your music, and we also have an auxiliary cable for whoever doesn't like Bluetooth. It has a built-in mic right here for it. This is your air conditioning, your fan speed. This is your compressor. And then this is just your temperature. So this right here is the quick attach. This is the unlock. And then when you unlock it, that red plunger down there will come up. And then you unlock it, and then it goes down. It's a good indicator, and it's really useful for changing buckets. Much better than like an alarm system, which just gets really annoying, especially on Caterpillar excavators. This right here is a smooth ride system, or SRS, JCB calls it. Basically, you have to put the boom all the way down, and then you hit this button, and the boom acts like kind of like a shock absorber. It makes the ride really smooth. I notice if you have it off, it is a little rough sometimes, and when you turn this on, it makes it pretty smooth for a track machine. This right here is a reversing fan, so if you got like dust or something on that radiator back there, you can hit that reversing fan and it'll blow it out. And I think it reverses every 15 minutes on its own, but anyways, if you want to do it, especially if you live in like a dusty conditions, it's a good way to just make sure it's breathing. You have your ISO and H pattern. We always run an ISO, but for you guys who run H, you can just change it over. This is a high flow. You know, it's like a continuous high flow pump. And the standard flow, continuous flow, is this button here, auxiliary. Ours is the high flow model, so we have the high flow controls. Coming down here on the joystick, this is your blade float, so when you put the bucket down and you just got to put pressure on it, you hit this button, and then an icon will show up that looks just like this on the joystick, and that tells you it's in float mode. And you also it'll also do like a little jump. I think it's the hydraulics priming itself so it floats over. This right here is the extended boom, so this pushes it out, this brings it in. And the extended boom gives you about 8 feet of reach to the front. And when you have an extended all the way out, it'll give you about 13 feet 3 inches hinge pin height. So basically you'll be looking up there. You got a decent window. It does come in handy when you have it all the way up. And then you also have extra auxiliary controls for your hydraulic implements, and there's also another one on the back side on the right, and that's it for that joystick. And so coming over to the left joystick, this is another extra implement switch, and there's also 2 buttons on the back. This is the horn, and I don't remember what this one does. I think it's just an extra button for an attachment. This is a 2-speed machine, so you're either in like turtle mode usually, or you're in rabbit mode. And then if you hit the turtle mode again, it puts it in a crawl. And the crawl you can adjust with this switch here. When you put it in crawl, it'll say crawl up here, and it gives the numbers from 10 to 100. And when you have and you can set it to really slow, and you can also have it move pretty quickly. So it's handy, especially if you're mowing in a straight line, just to keep a constant speed and you're not lugging the mower or anything. You also have your windshield wiper washer here, and then if you hold it, that's how you get it to spray. I've already used that. It works pretty good. But oh yeah, we also have a dealer installed this camera, so I'm not sure exactly how they set it up, but it is really nice to have. And you can also flip the view, and there's other ways to see. If you can add more cameras too, because it has a multi-camera functionality. So it's pretty nice to have that backup camera. You have a nice sliding window, and it is a pressurized cab, so sometimes the door is kind of a bitch to shut. Sometimes you just have to crack the window a bit to really slam it and then shut it, because it is a pretty pressurized cab. Got a nice little cup holder down here, and then you also have some storage here in the console, and you also have a 12-volt plug here. Basically you just put whatever in there. Just like any skid steer, you have to have the left armrest down and this down to run it, but you don't need it down to start it. So basically, that's the gist of the inside of the JCB. All right, guys. So now we're gonna be doing just a quick little test drive to show you what driving is like. So let's start it up. We got the thing down and the left armrest down. Just turn the key. All the warning lights come on. Fire it up. So basically, when you first turn it on, you're in parking brake, so it won't move. Nothing moves. So in order to get it, it's kind of like a hydraulic lock. So you take the parking brake off, and then it allows you to move. Basically, we have the backup camera unplugged because it's annoying as hell. So it throws an error code, which is annoying. Basically, let's go move a pile of dirt, I guess. But before we go over there, I'll show you how like the SRS and stuff like that works. So to turn the SRS on, you just push this button and it lights up. And then as you drive, you'll see like the boom kind of acts like a shock absorber. And if you turn it off, it's become rigid and it gets a little more bouncy. I'll show you how the float works too. Let's put this back on. So how the float works is you put the boom all the way down, put the bucket flat like that, and then you push this button right here. Sometimes you have to, yep, and that thing will light up there, and you saw the machine do that jump, and that means you're in float mode. And then you just back up, and works great back dragging, because I did basically all that work over there, back dragging it. And once you lift the boom up, the float turns off, so you're not like stuck in the float mode. It comes out automatically. This is the telescopic boom. It goes up 8 feet reach, so you can actually use the float way out here too. See, it goes in the float, but I'm not gonna do it. I wouldn't like to do that, probably because I'd rather have it close. It's just stronger, especially since it's a single arm. The other nice thing is it has like a brace, so if you have it all the way down and you push into a pile, it's not just pushing against the boom, you're also pushing against the middle. That seems like a really good design. I mean, as I've used it, there hasn't been any like flex or anything I've seen. It's a pretty strong machine. Oh yeah, let me demonstrate the, so this is rabbit mode. You just push this button here, and it goes about 9 miles per hour. It's pretty quick. I mean, I've never driven another skid steer really, but it's pretty quick compared to an excavator. And then you just hit the snail to go back into regular. And then, if you hit it again, the snail pops up here, and you're in creep mode. It's basically, it's like a constant, it goes back and forward. It says creep 26 up there. And with this button here, you can either make it go up, down, and if you go up, it makes the speed go up. So basically, you can adjust it to how you want it, which is useful, especially for mowing. And then you just hit the regular button, the rabbit button to get out of it. And then you hit it again to go in fast mode, hit the snail to go back into regular speed. And it's really pretty, intuitive. So basically, let's just show you. And this is your throttle, full throttle. We'll give it about half. So it's definitely got some power to it. And the best part about the extended boom, it goes way up there. 13 feet. I mean, it goes up quite a bit. That's the top right there. And there's the dump. So it goes up there quite a bit. And you got the nice backup camera when you back up. You can also flip it like I showed before, but I like it like that. It makes the most sense. Then you just put the boom back in with that. Yeah, just pick in the pile up here. Extend it out. And dump it. It's a pretty quick machine. I mean, I love this thing. You know, we've never used a skid steer before, but ever since we bought one, you know, I really fell in love with a skid steer. I mean, my dad always used to say he'd never buy one. The biggest selling point to us was the extended boom, because it allows us to load our 10-wheelers and triaxles, which our Yanmar V47 loader could not. I believe this thing, when it's fully extended, can lift about 2,400 pounds, 35% tipping load, and I think when it's all the way in, it can lift about 3,600, which is it's pretty good for a 12,600 pound machine. It is a kind of a heavy skid steer. It almost maxes out our little excavator's trailer. You know, it's a really good machine. The best part about it is honestly the Bluetooth radio. I know that's not like a big thing, but a lot of the recent machines we bought still come with the regular radios, and it gets annoying having to use an aux cord. And it also comes with really nice tracks. You can see how beefy they are. I took it through one of our wet fields and didn't get stuck. I don't think our tractor would have made it through there. But I'll just demonstrate the float mode again over here. So basically you just, I like to bring it all the way in, put the bucket flat, hit this button. Sometimes, there you go. Sometimes you have to play with it a little bit to get it to go in. And then you just back drag it. And with a backup camera, you don't even really have to look behind you, although sometimes I like to, because it's not the best peripheral vision on the right side where the boom is. But it, you know, it works pretty good. Must have dragged the rock there. But, overall, this machine is a ton of fun. We bought it for about $105,000. So, with the way the economy's going and everything, this machine used to be like, I think, $95,000, but it's gone up quite a bit, just like every other machine. But overall, we really like this thing, and I think it was definitely worth the purchase. And let's just shut this off here. And when you lift the thing up, it puts it in park, so it doesn't move. And the other thing is, when you put it in park, you have to activate the SRS again. It gets kind of annoying. I don't know why that happens, but that's just a little thing. But anyway, that's the JCB 3TS-8T Teleskid, and it's a great machine. I mean, we really like it. It's our first skid steer, so you know, we're not that experienced with it. I mean, we have like 10 excavators, but this is our first skid steer, and you know, we did a lot of the work here with the grapple bucket, picking up the brush and stuff like that. So this thing is great. I would definitely recommend trying one out. We demoed this first, and it never even left the yard. We bought it right there. That's how much we loved it. Biggest selling point's that telescopic boom. No other skid steer does that. Maybe Volvo does, but I believe it's the same thing pretty much, because JCB and Volvo work together. But anyway, guys, that is the JCB 3TS-8T, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.